guitar playing champions, grab your guitar because we're going to play some really awesome neoclassical style sweep picking arpeggios together. So we're going to dive into not just the individual arpeggios, but arpeggio sections and sequences that make up an entire killer arpeggio solo in the style of someone like Jason Becker or Yngwie Malmsteen, etc. So if you know how to play some basic arpeggios but want to learn how to put them all together in a unique and super cool way, grab your guitar and let's go. All right, let's move to the A minor arpeggio section from the solo that I was playing earlier, and it goes like this. All right, now, there are three little tricky parts here, or things to think about, that will help you to learn and master this and make things just sound better and be a little easier, more smooth for you. The first one is we've got to use the finger rolling technique for arpeggios for the A minor arpeggio. So every time that we play A minor here, like the first four notes, we've got to use our first finger and separate the notes. If we don't separate them and we just do like a little bar chord, then all those notes bleed together and it doesn't sound very good, okay? So we're looking for separation, so you've got to use the finger roll technique in order to make that clean. So that's challenge number one. Challenge number two is that there will be some times when you'll have to use the same finger on the same string, but on different frets when changing arpeggios. So one example of that is when we play the D minor arpeggio. This is the last four notes of the first measure. When we play this, let me try that again. We end with our fourth finger on the 22nd fret, but the very next note we have to play is the 20th fret, and we also need to use our fourth finger. So after the D minor arpeggio, we've got to shift our finger down here. We can't really slide it. We don't want this sound. I mean, I guess you could slide it if you want to, but I'm not sliding it. I'm just shifting down. So when you play it up to speed, that movement of the fourth finger, and you'll encounter this also with the first finger in some spots also on the G string, you want that to be nice and crisp so that each arpeggio is nice and clean, okay? So if there's one place where it might get a little sloppy, it's usually going to be where we've got to move that fourth finger or the first finger on two different frets on the same string and have both of those notes sound really clear. Now, the other challenge here for this section comes with the transition between the final two arpeggios. In other words, the last 8 notes of the section, or of measure 2. So we've got F major. So we're ending here on the G string, right? And then to play the final arpeggio, we've got to start it again on the first string. So this is not hard for the left hand, but for the picking hand, we've got to do that string skipping motion. As you see, the 17th fret of the third string, our pick we would hit that note with an upstroke going this way, but the very next note we have to play is on string 1 with a downstroke. That. So that challenge is going to be there where we got to do the string skipping. When you repeat this whole thing, so when you play the last arpeggio in measure 2 and you go all the way back to measure 1 to play the first arpeggio, there's going to be a string skip there as well. So those are the 3 areas to sort of pay attention to: the finger roll so the notes don't bleed together. Okay, the shift, nice and clean when using the same finger on 2 different frets of the same string, and then the string skipping part. So just watch out for those. If you need any help with that finger rolling technique, I've got another video on YouTube you should check out. It's called Sweep Picking Lesson Finger Rolling Arpeggios. And in that video, I'll go into a lot of detail about how to play and master that technique so you can play arpeggios that require the finger rolling guitar technique. Now let's move on to the Bach-inspired arpeggio section in A minor, and it goes like this. It's a very, very cool sound. Again, Bach inspired. And basically what we have here is an A minor arpeggio. Then we have an E7 arpeggio. It's not a sweeping arpeggio, but it's still an arpeggio. And then A minor descending. Then a bit of a scale fragment here, the last 4 notes of measure 1. Then we've got our A minor arpeggio again. Our E7 arpeggio. And then we have an A minor add 9 arpeggio. The 9th is the note on the 12th fret, the B note. Then we move all that stuff up to that starting on the 19th fret, and we play exactly the same thing in D minor. And there you have it. It's a very cool sequence, super Bach-like sound. It sounds like one of the violin concertos. And it's just really, really cool. It's very, very melodic, and it just sounds awesome. Let's move now to the major key section. And this one will start with an F major arpeggio and then move to a C major arpeggio. Both are in 2 octaves. So it sounds like this. So what we have here, again, is just F major, just descending. Then C major, we are going to add 1 additional note, the 17th fret of the 5th string. So that would be the D note. That would be the 9th of this arpeggio. So they're just simple arpeggios, really. We've got a little bit of a string skipping thing. If you notice, the end of measure 1 ends up on string 3, and then we have a string skipping pattern for the picking hand to get back to string 1 to start arpeggio number 2. And then we've just got this little extra thing to finish off at the bottom of the C major arpeggio. So 2 major chord arpeggios, but the contour of the lines, as you see in the tablature and in notation, are different for each one. So both arpeggios are not played in the same contour, same melodic line. So it adds interest whenever you change the contour of arpeggios. So it's not always the same, just up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, straight up, straight down, time after time after time. Those little changes to the contour shift make for more interesting arpeggio patterns. Here's the final section of our solo. So basically what we have here is A minor, then we have E7. We're not actually playing the root there, but it's still E7. Then we have A minor with the F note on top, then this little scale fragment. Then this cool little neoclassical sequence that goes like this. So all together. So the main challenge here, there really are 2 parts that are the most difficult, and that is connecting the 2nd arpeggio to the 3rd arpeggio. So this part's pretty easy. This part's fairly easy too. But But now we just ended with our first finger on the D string, 12th fret, and we need that finger again to play the first note of the next arpeggio, 9th fret of the 3rd string. So we're changing frets and strings with the same finger. A little bit of a stretch here from the 8th fret to the 13th fret. Then the next challenge is we just ended this little scale fragment here. The end of measure 1 is this. Now the very next note we need to play is on the 1st string, 16th fret with the 4th finger. So this finger's got to go way over here. Now it's too difficult, at least for me, to really make that stretch. So all I'm really going to do, I'm just going to shift my hand up quickly. In order to get to the first note of measure 2, and that's basically it. All right, so now let's talk for a minute about how would you practice this neoclassical, these sweep picking arpeggios that kind of sound like Jason Becker or Yngwie Malmsteen like style or whatever. My advice here is to just take it really slow and just work on one section at a time, okay? So this is fairly long, right? If you wanted to do the whole thing. It's pretty long. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I would just take one section, take it slow, and just work on getting the arpeggios to be smooth and connected smoothly. So probably when you play the arpeggios, you probably won't have much of a problem playing each of the individual arpeggios as you're going through this neoclassical arpeggio section. But the challenge will sometimes be just connecting them together. So keep it slow, keep it smooth, and you'll get it with time. Now, if you want to learn how to sweep pick fast and clean, I will show you how step by step in my new free e-guide titled Sweep Picking Mastery Secrets Unlocked. What the pros do to sweep pick clean and fast. It's totally free. Click on the link below to download your copy and learn to master sweep picking at high speeds.